Hi, I'm Chris Freitag, and I'm excited to lead you through a 10-minute foam rolling recovery workout. I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by one of my favorite healthy snack brands, Krispy Kreme. Their freeze-dried crispy fruit snacks are not only delicious, but they're also a truly healthy option when you're craving something crispy. Lately, I've been obsessed with their new flavor, all strawberry, but I do love them all. And crispy fruit is truly a perfect reward after a recovery workout. And by the way, it's 100% real fruit, no added sugar, so I can snack guilt-free. Now let's move on to the workout. Let me start with the equipment that we're going to use today. So I have a massage ball and a foam roller with me. Massage balls, you can pick them up in a lot of different places, but it's a little firmer than a tennis ball, but not quite as firm as a lacrosse ball. That's why I like this particular massage ball. But again, you could use either one of those tools if you had them at home. This is a foam roller, and foam rollers do come in different firmnesses. I do like one that's a little more firm because then you can really dig into that soft tissue, but you can decide. The white styrofoam foam roller is a lot softer than some of the others. They're typically about 6 inches in diameter, and this one is a little longer, but you can buy it in a half size also. All right, so that's our equipment. Today we are going to start from the bottom of the body all the way up. So we'll work our way from our feet all the way up our body, and we're going to do it together. Now, typically I might take a little more time on each body part, but for time's sake, we're going to move through it, and you can always take longer on your own after you've done the workout with me a couple of times. Let's take the massage ball, put it on the floor, and we're going to start with the bottom of our feet. Now, you're going to take that foot, you're going to balance. If you need to hold on to something, feel free to do so. And you're just going to place it onto the massage ball. And then you're going to roll it up and down the tendon underneath your foot. Now, if you've ever had plantar fasciitis, that is super painful. Or maybe you just get really tight in your feet from the activity that you're doing or the shoes that you're wearing. This feels amazing to roll it all the way down that tendon, the whole length from the heel to the toe and back. It's kind of crazy because we have about 1/4 of our bones in our body in our feet, and we also have a ton of muscles and tendons, and feet hold you up all day long. So it's important you pay attention to them. Make sure you do both feet, so you'll come to the other side. And if you are suffering from any kind of plantar fasciitis or anything like that, being consistent with doing this is very important. So you're gonna roll back and forth, and make sure, of course, that you have your shoes off. This feels amazing. And then once we're done with that, we'll come back to the massage ball for the low back, but we'll move into the foam roller. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to start with my calves, the back of my leg, and I'm going to come this way. Now, there is no one right way to foam roll, and you may feel a little awkward at first, but just get used to it. And remember, if you're in the comfort of your own home, nobody's watching you, so do your thing. You can do one leg at a time or both at the same time. I'm going to go for one leg at a time with the calves. So when you foam roll, it's kind of like a 3-part system. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to start by rolling over the entire area that you are trying to work. So I'm going from the ankle all the way up to the back of the knee. And you want to roll back and forth approximately 10 times. There's no exact magic. But what I'm trying to do is heat up that muscle and the soft tissue. I'm trying to get some blood flow back there. Just soften it up a little bit. Now, after you've gone back and forth about 10 times, I feel that, maybe you can find a trigger point or an adhesion. And when you find that, hold it there. Pin it and hold it and just breathe. Notice I'm holding my body up with the strength of my upper body. If you need to put your body down, it's just going to be less pressure into the foam roller. And I kind of feel it, an adhesion right there. So I'm breathing into it. And then the third part is to cross fiber. So you're going to roll across the fibers instead of the length and just get into that soft tissue. I might be making a few grimacing faces today, so bear with me. And then again, you could repeat that 3-part system. I'm going to go to the other leg for sake of time. So again, roll the whole length of the area you're working, all the way up, all the way down, about 10 times. And remember, your body is 3-dimensional, right? So you can kind of roll to the inside, you can roll to the outside. After about 10 times, see if you find any part. Typically the center of the calf for me is where I feel the most tension. hold it there, breathe into it, and then cross fiber friction this way. Good. And you might hear me breathing. It is really important to get oxygen to the muscles as you're doing this. So take your time, breathe into it. Now we're gonna move up to the back of the legs, the hamstring. Oh man, hammies can get very tight, right? I'll start with this leg. Move your foam roller around. Maneuver it so that you can get in the right position. I'm gonna do one leg at a time again. And you can do this when you're watching TV, when you're talking with somebody at home, when you're, on your own free time. It does not have to be directly after your workout. Recovery is something that you want to create a consistent habit of. So maybe it's a few minutes in the morning or a few minutes in the evening. The key is that you're consistent with this concept of recovery. Now I'm going the full length of the hamstring, all the way up and down. Again, that's the rolling it out. Then you find that trigger point or where you might feel some tension, get into it, and then you can cross fiber if that works for you or is appropriate. You have to see how your body feels. Ooh, man. And some muscle groups are going to be more sore or more tight than others. So you kind of have to just play with it and see how it feels. I'm going to the other leg. Again, if you do this workout on your own, feel free to take a little extra time in whatever body part you need to. Right there. And the whole idea of what we're doing is self-myofascial release. So underneath your skin, you have what we call fascia. All right, now I'm going to hold it. And it's kind of like a webbing underneath your skin. It can get very tight. You can feel adhesions in there where it gets so tight. You just want to, it's that feeling where you want someone to stick their elbow right into that muscle. And so that's where you hold and pin it and breathe, and then you can cross fiber if it works for you. So it's a great way. It's like you're giving yourself a little self-massage at home. Right there. Good. Now we're going to move from the back of the legs to the front of the legs. You can roll through your tibia and your fibia, your shins if you'd like to. I'm just going to go right up to the quads. Again, for sake of time, but if you are super sore through here, roll them out. It is no problem. And honestly, once you start doing this, you probably will get addicted because it feels so good. Now I'm going to roll both quads at the same time here just to get started. And then I'm going to go one at a time. So again, we're getting some blood flow here. Then you're going to come to the side. Now, my quads are tight, so I'm going to feel this today. You can put that leg in the front or in the back, depending on how that's feeling and what side of the quad that you're working. I'm going to kind of come around, and then I'm going to move so I can get to the inside of the quad a little bit. And then I'm going to hold it right where I feel it. Man. And go back and forth. Oh, geez. And then we'll go to the other leg. So I'm just going to go to the outside of the quad. That's where I tend to get really tight. And roll back and forth and hold it. And cross fiber right there. Yowza. Awesome. Okay, moving on to the sides of the body, the IT band, which is an area that gets very tight for most of us. It starts up at the hip and then comes all the way down over the knee. So we're going to come on the side. Again, place your body weight into it, and you decide how much pressure that you are putting into the foam roller. So I'm going to start at the hip and roll all the way up to the side of the knee and back. Holy moly. IT bands can be really tight. Now, this top foot can come in the front if that works better for balance, or in the back. Depends on how far you want to roll on that IT band. But it is ropey and it can get very tight. So you're going to roll all the way up, all the way down. If you find a place like right there on my IT band, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to breathe, and then I'm going to cross over right there. And man, do I feel it. And then we're going to get the IT band on both sides. And like I said earlier, if you would like to take a little bit more time than I am on each body part, please do this on your own. Continue on. And once you get used to it and it's a habit for you, perhaps, like I said, you'll just be watching TV, or you'll be talking to someone, and or just spending some quiet time rolling out those muscles. So I'm going to go all the way from the hip, all the way down to the knee and back. I'm going to hold it right where I feel it. And this self-myofascial release, it helps to loosen tight sore muscles. It helps to improve flexibility because you're getting rid of those adhesions, and improve range of motion. It helps to prevent injury. Oh boy, I'm going to move this way. It promotes circulation. There's so many good reasons why we should be doing more recovery, and I have to believe that most people would admit, myself included, that I need to incorporate more consistent recovery into my routine. Okay, so moving up now a little further up the body into our lats. So right along the back side of our shoulders and the big area of our back, on the side of our back, not on top of the vertebrae. So I'm going to come on the side. It's a hard decision which is the most painful, the IT band or the lats, but this gets pretty bad. So I'm going to see how much body weight I can press into my lats. And I'm going to take my body off the ground and roll back and forth. Again, it gets a little awkward. You have to decide the angle that you want to be at. So as I roll this way, it gets a little more painful for me. So I'm just seeing where I can hold my body. And if you need to put your hips down so there's less pressure into the foam roller, feel free to do that. And I can even come all the way up. Hold it wherever you feel that pressure. Breathe into it. Roll back and forth. Holy cow. And we'll get it on the other side. Really get that whole shoulder blade. Feel free to kind of roll around and get that range of motion. So let's see which side is more tight. It is interesting when you work each side of the body that you might find one side of the body is tighter than the other. That's very common. If you are right dominant, sometimes you're overusing your right side, and you'll notice that. Right there. So roll back and forth, then hold and pin it where you feel that pressure, those adhesions, and then cross fiber. If it feels okay, whatever is appropriate for your body and what you can handle. Right there. Now, we're going to move into the back. So one thing I want to tell you is you don't want to foam roll directly up and down your spine. Your spine is a series of 24 vertebrae. You have 7 vertebrae in the back of your neck, 12 in your mid-back, and 5 in your low back. And you don't want to just take anything up and down those vertebrae. So if you can slightly, come on the shoulders, the upper back, and not really hit the vertebrae, I really like the foam roller for my upper back, and then I switch to the other side. But when it comes to your low back, that's when that massage ball comes back into play. So I'm just going to move the foam roller out of the way for a moment and grab that little massage ball. So on either side of your lumbar, your low back, muscles get very, very tight to protect that lumbar. People bend every day. You lift your hips and shorten your hip flexors. There's a lot happening in your pelvis. This little tiny ball can create so much relief. So I'm going to place it not on my spine, but to the side, right here where your back and everything connects, your sacrum, and just press into where it attaches to your glutes. And a lot of people feel a lot of tension there. So I'm just going to place it and just see how it feels. Find that spot. Now, to put more pressure, I'm going to lift my foot up off the ground. So I'm going to lift the leg on the side where I have this massage ball. The minute I take my foot off the ground, I feel a lot more pressure. Now I'm going to lift that leg to the sky, even more pressure, longer lever, and then I'm going to move my leg. And I can just feel those adhesions. I can just feel that tension in there, releasing. Now I'm going to do that on both sides of my spine, and then you can move it up a little higher. So you can get just up the sides of the spine. Again, lift that leg if it feels okay. Right there. Oh man, and you want to do this on both sides of your spine. If moving your leg is super uncomfortable, you have a ton of tension, just keep your feet down and just press into that ball. But if you want to add a little pressure, take that foot up off the ground. The other thing that you can do is as you move it up your back, I could put it up like right under my shoulder blades, right here. Ooh, that's a good spot for me right there. But you can do this against a wall too. So you could stand against a wall and then press back. It's going to be a little less pressure than laying down on the floor. And you can even take it up on either side of your neck. Again, just make sure that you're not placing it right on those vertebrae. Oh man, I feel that. It feels really good. So if you've followed along with me, then hopefully you got a pretty good recovery workout. If you were able to watch this and understand everything I was doing, maybe you will do it on your own in the future. And you know, maybe you just focus on a couple of body parts at a time, or maybe you do the whole body and it takes you about 15 to 20 minutes, whatever works for you. But the bottom line is we all need a little more recovery, and it will help you feel better for that next workout and for that next day of activities. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again real soon.